Thought I was gonna sing, nigga.
This right here is my swag. All the niggas around me is mad. I'm just trying to get to a bag. Don't do 'em like that, Lee. Please don't do 'em like that. This on these fuck niggas like they a bunch of R. Kelly groupies. Don't forget to suck on my big ride like a pineapple smoothie. All eyes on me and this bitch feeling like a Tupac movie.
Shit right
hey,
here.
These bitches sniffing all in my business like they want a Scooby snack. Fuckin' with no feelings, then cheat on her, now she wanna do me back. I'm a dirty dog here for the back thumb and a booty crack. Damn, my nigga passed me the blizzard. Fell asleep one time, standing up cross-eyed, sipping scissor. Kinda like lesbians, I'm turned on when bitches scissor. She keep on sticking her tongue out at me, think that bitch a lizard. Woo. What is that right there? Some little dance you got off TikTok, bitch? I ain't even mad, y'all. They don't really try and get TikTok rich. Looking like it's something on your lip.
Happy Vagina Day, bitches.
Back the fuck up, please. I heard you had that shit a month, you ain't go to the doctor. That nigga tryna be like me, I think he an imposter. Why every nigga rapping say he got outs in a chopper?
Oh, how I missed you all.
I ain't even I ain't fearing that shit. I just wrote up something so
you
loud,
know it's gonna be a good
shit.
one.
This nigga must think I'm a bitch, well I'm a bad bitch. I feel like Mike at 87
I hope
some
you're
bad
ready for
shit.
it.
Before the Uber used to make a call a cab. Last night your girl forehead was on my
We've had
ass
the
shit.
pleasure of
This
his
right here
presence
is my swag. All the niggas around me is mad. I'm just trying to get to a bag. Don't do 'em like that, Lee. Please don't do 'em like that. I be thinking crazy shit like the earth flat and shit like that.
You be thinking crazy shit like the earth flat shit like
Yeah,
that?
bitch, I be thinking crazy shit like the earth flat and shit like that.
How you doing, brother?
I can see through you and it hurt having shit like that.
Yeah, rocking out a little bit. I know it's a good little bop, right? Type shit you could bang a bitch out to. 100%, man. I'm glad you can recognize, dude. See, you're a good one. You're one of the real ones out here instead of these people always trying to perp on me. Not that I have haters, but it just gets annoying, all the chirping, and I like to chill out, do my thing, not get caught up in any of the bullshit. So...
Yeah. Anyways, I'm joined here with my cat.
That's Leacavelli, man.
Leacavelli.
I don't know if you've ever heard of his shit before, but I was talking about him with Paul and Doug. Shout out to Sibling Revelry. But I was at their in the chat for their show tonight and just brought that up because they were talking about, you know, the power of the N-word and, you know, if racism is ever gonna go away, you know, the spell that some fucking dark wizard cast back in the fucking Stone Age, you know, the Camelot periods, and
he was a dork wizard.
Yeah, I don't know.
He cast the in spell.
Yeah, it and it's funny because that's like the only song Leacavelli ever blew up for, but the song is called "Let the White Kids Say," and you know, if it were the bonus, I probably wouldn't mind saying the word because I don't care. But your imagination can run with it, and it's a very poignant thing. You know, he's trying to just break down barriers in the same way you appreciate the song we were just listening to.
Yes.
He does the same thing, you know, dropping pretty heavy bars where he's like started out Pangea, Continental Drift, ended up different equators. It's the reason we look like this. And, like, really spitting bars about why a word shouldn't trap anybody mentally.
Yeah.
But, you know, some people, they can't escape that, and it was just beautiful to have, you know, both Doug and Paul, they pulled the video up, and I think you and we have talked about this before, actually, offline, where I just think it's more racist for you to believe that the N-word means a black person
Yeah,
than it is to say
yeah.
the N-word objectively. Like, everybody that got mad at Joe Rogan, and I'm not even buddies with him, I'm not going to sit up here and shit on him or say he's the best comic, but everybody who took that shit out of context
Yeah.
and twisted it, and it's like, there's better things for you to figure out in comedy instead of being a discount too lazy, because that guy already is doing a good enough job finding shit that needs to be pointed out as obscure in a fucking putrid way. I don't need more people looking for the scraps off the table that are rotten, and nobody's looking for that. That's not entertaining. You know, I would rather fucking get my dick blown off. I can't stand just the arrogance of people. Sure, you want to make content or participate, that's great, but there's better shit out there.
Yeah.
Just find it. Find your lane. Don't worry about, oh, did somebody say something that they're not supposed to? And that's why you've got all these fucking countries where language is limited. And dude, if you would see some of the arguments that I've had to avoid with people because they want to have a different belief or mentality, they're not open to suggestion. And I mean, we were talking about, a couple episodes, I brought up the Japanese past and shit, and there was somebody I was talking to, a German guy, and I don't know why it's always the Germans, man. I got love for my German people, but every time I talk to somebody from Germany, they seem really specific about people, and I've heard like all of the, and this is just from people who live there internally, I've heard all of the kind of the secret politics that go on where there's no racism necessarily, but they do segregate immigrants into certain parts of the country so that they only can, the same thing that Japan does, where if you're white, if you're gaijin, there's certain districts in Japan that you're never going to be able to purchase property in or be able to get a license to have a business, and they'll never give you a legitimate reason. They won't come out right and tell you, oh, it's because you're an outsider, it's because, but that is the reason. And I was trying to have a regular conversation with somebody who was, an outsider living in Japan, and not trying to talk down to anybody or act like I'm the fucking guru of everything, Broseph, but just kind of being like, yeah, there's some people you could check into, like check out the guy who did the Tokyo Vice shit. He's a American who went over to Japan, understood the language and culture very fluently, and was treated like an outsider and had people try to sabotage his career the entire time, simply because he wanted to live there and be a part of that, work at the newspaper. And, if he gets all that trouble, and, it's not far-fetched to think that that's still going on today.
Yeah.
Things don't just change because a couple people you get along with at the fucking ramen cafe Naruto style. That's not what this is. At the end of the day, there's people who have their own fucking motivations and desires, and you might not necessarily intertwine. And it's a good idea to keep your distance from certain circles as well, because there might be somebody you piss off, or you see somebody causing trouble and you get involved in that, and they're affiliated to something so deep, or that now you're fucked. Now you're marked. X marks the spot. They're hunting for that treasure, dude. They want a piece of that booty. And I know I'm going a little hard in the paint. We're already fucking barely 10 minutes in, and I'm letting her rip. But you know what I'm saying, man. It's just,
well, everything
you gotta be careful.
You said gaijin and or whatever. I was like,
yeah. Gaijin.
Did you mispronounce Goyim, or were you talking about Israel, or because it's identical. Which also led me to the next thought, which is something that people always point out a lot, is that like these things you're pointing out, these elements of Japanese culture, and like some elements that I guess are still present in some European countries,
right? Doesn't
seem to be at the in some like the UK and stuff like that, but I guess, which is the thing that they point out, is that America is unique in the fact that we kind of in good faith engage in or at least for the past several decades, in good faith, engage in multiculturalism, just because of the
100%.
history of it, and then because it's just the standard across the world that, because first off, the history of like how specifically the nation states in Europe were developed was I forget the philosophy of who, but it was the excuse me,
It'll come to you.
like it was specifically the philosophy of like the nation state is that the nation is the people. Like if you go back, and this is why the Jews are like, no, it's fine when we say goyim, we mean nations. That's what it means, because nations used to mean people. Like the word nation didn't mean like, oh, your nation, that's the country, that's the state. Those things are all synonymous, kind of. When modern.
No, you're right.
People,
it's Animal Farm now.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
The pigs have taken over.
Exactly, because the nation used to mean, like, and this sounds racist, this sounds whatever. No, it was where the people of your ancestry had lived, and like, sure, there were migrations that went around, but in a previous era there wasn't nearly the amount of mass migrations. Obviously there's exceptions, like but those exceptions were also labeled things like, for example, the Islamic invasion of Spain. It wasn't called a mass migration event. It was those were called invasions, because at the time when a nation state, which together is the nation people, and then the state, which is the governmental entity, the idea of the nation state was a people's right to kind of self-determination and self-governance in some form of their area. And now to some obviously originally it was the idea of the monarchy, divine right of rule, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And then with the Magna Carta, and they're like, hey, along with the divine right of rule, us people, the normal people, also have rights. The merchants, all like all these people have rights. And so it's it's not just you the king, you can't abuse your rights. We all need rights, and that's Magna Carta came out, and that's where what that kind of. God
it was
damn,
the
dude.
beginning of the end with that.
Yeah.
Truly, because once you got people to believe in the idea of a right, you were able to dictate to them what rights they had,
And that's
what rights were earned, what could be taken away from you. And before, we were all just free. We weren't people with rights.
yeah.
And that was just one layer of the trickery.
But to some degree, because up to that point, like the debate of I guess the rights of the populace was still kind of like, for example, the Roman Empire existed forever. They had slaves. That was their divine. That was how they saw.
Yeah, when they conquered someone,
Yeah.
the people they conquered were their slaves and
Exactly.
helped to rebuild the army. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to act like the slave program was a generous way of allowing people
Yeah, no.
citizenship, but there were times when people who really worked through was it terrible that your whole culture was raped, pillaged, and plundered? Sure, but did some people get to escape that through hard work? Yeah, they did get out of it, and
Yeah.
it's better than nothing, I guess, right?
and that's to like in comparing where the world has gone versus where it was, and where possibly with how quick society evolved, it's sometimes I find myself having medieval thoughts, you know.
Really?
You know,
I'm
like-
having Fallout thoughts.
You know,
I don't
like-
know why all of a sudden, but you're having medieval thoughts.
Well,
huh?
probably because I've been collecting coins recently, you know. So I'm like, you know, I'm
Fair.
like, yeah, I'm just handling physical money, and you know, I'm really understanding the you know, why the Rothschilds, you know, were so fascinated with money and had to.
So many people don't even know that name anymore. It's all going away. They're
Oh, no.
Berenstein-ing the whole thing, dude. So
I've
even know about.
I have seen it pop up a bit, you know, in conjunction with the Epsteins, because, and in fact, I've seen a little bit of a, because you're right, it went away for a long time, but I've seen a little bit of a revival the past, you know, week or so, couple weeks. His name pop up in there, or at least people say, you know, because I think there was a
Right.
quote where he said, "I represent the Rothschilds," like in one of his emails. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
interesting.
Yeah, which is so funny, because I mean, I've said this on X. I'm like, it's gotten to the point that it feels like almost comical, like too comical and almost too mean. It's like, it's almost like Jeffrey Epstein was just reading like the protocols of the elders of Zion and writing his emails based off of that. You know, like
I don't even think it's real anymore, and I think that all the abuse is real, but now I'm in that camp of, dude, what if it's just all Chat GPT and they're feeding us shit they think we want to see, and they're just picking names out of a fucking hat, Kill
It
Tony
would-
style, to be like, oh, look at this, fucking Woody Allen's a pedophile. So
I mean, but like, yes, but also the only reason that maybe that seems apparent is because it's only like the popular people that are popping out. You know,
yeah,
there's like that you're hearing about. There's so many other names in there. I'm like, who the fuck is this like you know, them having like a serious I'm like, who is that? And then there's some other people that you look up, and they're like, you know, like a hedge fund manager, or like
Alex Jones is in there, and I just saw him trying to defend that down. He had posted like, oh yeah, the
he was
globalists, it's
emailing
finally
everything?
time, we're gonna take the globalists down, and they just released all the final bounty finder released it, we're gonna get them. And then right underneath the post, somebody's showing that his name is in the fucking files, and he's like, yeah, they're trying to implicate me. It's bullshit, man. Like, you're in it and you're doing bad stuff, and that's why you grew the build fucking Zionist style, or I don't
it
know,
also
dude, it's all
depends on
fake.
how the names are named, because like, you know, Louis J. Gomez and David Teller, they're technically but they're all, you know,
True.
listed on a bill. If it was like, for example, Joe Rogan's in the Epstein files,
That's
because
not a good look for him.
because Epstein's talking about him, because he said it would be funny to go on Rogan's
Oh yeah,
podcast.
to go on a show.
And
I
then-
remember seeing that.
And then because he was messaging with like, I think some kind of like physicist or something like that that had been on Rogan's show a few times. And then
yeah, there was one where he was like, I'd like to go on.
Yeah.
I know he had one where he specifically
Yeah,
said, I'd
and
like to go on.
and he said because he thought it would be funny.
Could you imagine how fucking insane that would have been?
Yeah. After that though, Rogan the guy replied, Rogan's a little more timid than I thought. And then after that, Rogan refused to have that guy that was messaging with Epstein back on. So even though Rogan was mentioned in the Epstein files, you know, so Rogan's in the Epstein files, but when, you know, it's because he rejected having Jeffrey Epstein on his podcast.
Well, I don't
So
think
that's a good
either
one.
of them really knew how close they were. And I say this as a guy who, you know, pre-pandemic, I remember watching Joe Rogan Experience back when, I'm not going to say it was cool, but, you know, before he was getting 1 million per episode, back when it was kind of like still some low-key underground sauce. and you were always interested in the guests that would come on because they would just get drunk and stoned and talk for 3 to 4 hours, and you were like, this is a really good vibe for me if I'm doing something where I need this for my whatever. And
or you know, like, I want to watch a comedy special. Hey, look, there's a comedian on. Let's see if they have a special. Oh, cool, that was funny. You know.
Yes. And it's funny how Alex Jones told Rogan years and years and years ago, back when they were still able to talk freely, and again, they were so close to it, it was hiding in plain sight, that they weren't necessarily approached. You know, you could be gang stalked and have hundreds of assets around you at any moment, and then it's not until that one moment where they all look at you at the same time and say, do you see how I just made that happen? That's been like this for a long time, Joe. And if you don't start talking about the shit we want you to talk about now, then a lot of things are gonna change. And Alex tried to warn him about that, like, dude, you are compromised, and you might not want to talk about it, but I can see it, and didn't mind saying all of this shit, which you can perceive it as insane, but he didn't care about the consequences of his actions. He knew that was kind of his last samurai, his farewell in terms of any type of legitimacy in his platform, because when you got time to go after Ben Avery and just the downfall of what you got going on, none of these guys from the old guard are trustworthy anymore. I'm thankful that the people that I even fucking cared about in media are gone and their names aren't in there. Like, who are you supposed to look up to? Not that I need heroes anymore. I'm not a little boy anymore. But you get what I mean. Like, all these, could you imagine if, like, Voss was in there heavily implicated? It was like, oh yeah, Jeff, when's the next time I'm gonna be at the island? And, you know, like, I don't know what I would fucking
Dude,
do.
Rich Voss in the Epstein files. It'd be like he's only in there because he was like, because he got Epstein to pay for his veneers.
He was his coke guy. Yeah, I get you 8-ball, Jeff.
Dude. Well, I mean, like, I will say, good on, I mean, most of the New York comedians for, you know, not being involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
Nick DiPaolo, very funny that he went to dinner with Epstein, and then, you know, later said, you know, in an email, then it was like, yeah, that was fun. Probably won't be hanging out though. I just kind of wanted to do it for the thing, you know. And then so, you know,
his bucket list, dinner with Epstein.
I mean,
you know, do I want dinner with Epstein or $500,000? I'll take the dinner with Epstein.
Yeah, like because, you know, on one hand, you know, like I would, you know, I would have to be like, hey, I know what you're into, none of what you're into. You know, I love food, love to have lunch.
Yeah.
You know, keep them locked up, out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. You know, I'm not gonna ask too many questions. I just want to check this off on my bucket list. But no, but I was gonna say was good on, like, all, you know, the you know, New York comedians, for not only New York comedians in general, but the Jewish comedians, especially the pro-Israeli ones.
Yeah, there's
good on them. You know,
it's
like,
it is respectable that you have some Orthodox Jews or just some common Jews, and I mean, they differentiate. They make that distinction about, like, please don't lump Zionism in with us.
Well, I mean, because even
we're not
Voss,
a fan of
who
any of that.
even like Voss, Aaron Berg, you know, like, you know, guys who, you know, are like, yes, you know, fuck Hamas, kill them all. You know, I have my big Jewish chain, you know, like even the ones that are, you know, a little,
the Gelmans of the world. Yeah, man.
And, you know, I mean, and I exaggerate, you know, that as obnoxious as, you know, Gelman, but, you know, they're still proud Jews, you know, like, how do I put this in a way that doesn't sound like, anyways, I would imagine it would be very easy for someone that's you know, in a position where they're like, I need, you know, power and influence. Who do I consult? Oh, the devil just got exposed, and also now he's out of jail again. Maybe I can consult the devil and, you know, sell my soul for earthly fortune, you know? I could see it, you know, and especially with, and I say specifically the Jewish ones, no, because all Jews do that. No, some of them do, but no, no, but you know, like because I made this post on actually the other day. I was like, okay, no, someone made the post about like Jews helping other Jews out get business. You know, and they're like, oh, okay, so the
and the guy was calling people goyim in the video.
Yeah, and
like and subscribe if you want to know the secrets they keep from the goyim.
Yeah, and then it was Dalton. It was Dalton. He was like, step 1, be Jewish. And then I was like, yeah, that's what it was. And then my reply was, you know, ironically, you know, having connections is, you know, one of the best things, and also, I said, ironically, Mormons do the same exact thing. You know, they hook each other up with jobs and everything. Like,
this is very true.
And,
they're very.
And I was like,
reclusive.
I probably condemned myself to poverty the moment I stopped going to church, because like, it's especially back home. Like, so my dad, he's a banker, and yes, not Jewish. But but he no, he's a banker, but like, you know, local bank, you know, like not investment banker, not hedge fund manager. He just works at a local.
No, he's like George Bailey. I got you.
Yeah. Like it was like the community bank or whatever he worked at forever before they got, you know, bought out, and then he got to the new company. Anyways, there was some time, you know, around the banking crisis time that, you know, that they started thinning things down, and rather than, you know, like just get fired, he went and found himself another job on the base, because down Southern Maryland there's the Pax River Naval Air Base down there, because there's a ton of Mormons that work on the base in, you know, relatively high positions, you know, either at either, you know, for the Navy or Marines down there as well, or the, you know, just the contractors that they have, you know, Lockheed, I don't know if Lockheed, I think Lockheed's down there, Raytheon, you know, BAE Systems, like, you know, all these government contractors down there. So basically, if you, the reason for that spiel is, if you have, like, I realized in life, you know, skill is kind of secondary to having connections. You know, skill, degrees, qualifications, all of that, that's about, you know, 15 to, yeah, I mean, for some jobs 50%, but, you know, for, you know, let's be honest, the non-crappy jobs that, you know, pay pretty decent, probably more around, you know, 15%, you know, i.e. somewhere, you know, not like a code, or, you know, I don't know, somewhere where you're actually going to be working and turning your passion into something that you hate. But, you know, but yeah, those.
You're very right, man.
Yeah,
there's an old saying about, like, it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. But there's also, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. You could be the dumbest motherfucker out there, and I mean, you can be the most rottenest apple on the tree, and if you just so happen to fall into the fucking bushel, that's all it takes, man, to get a pass and get through.
Yes.
And, you know, everybody thinks that you need some special ingredient, the chemical X, in order to become the Powerpuff Girls. And no, motherfucker, it's really simple to get out there and get involved. I mean, I don't want to just keep harping on what you and Dave are trying to do, but that's a perfect example of showing people a proof of concept on something they can do if they would like the option. It's something available.
Yeah,
you know, everybody
it's not
wants
even
to
like,
be able to believe in some shit, man.
Yeah, and because also, like, yeah, it's funny. We got our first hater on the YouTube comment today. The only YouTube comment, which is like, oh, Three Stooges, say get rich quick schemes. Oh, subscribe, buy my stuff. We're like, and I gave sarcastic
You
replies.
didn't ask anybody to buy your shit.
No,
You
it's
just
funny.
mentioned you have shit and what you're doing.
We're saying
I don't
also,
know.
yeah. We obviously check out, if you need to buy things, check out, eBay, or if you want to buy things, check out of course. But like, it wasn't like, like what that
I
guy
don't know
was
what
saying, which
people,
is,
the takeaway is, man. You don't even need to defend that down. I'll do it for you. I don't get why you saying, hey, if you're thinking about buying stuff, check me out. Maybe I'll have something you like.
Yeah.
That's not a negative thing to dunk on somebody about. I think people should probably reevaluate.
Probably
their own
misinterpreted
time.
it as well, because probably thought, or maybe I figured he was just completely fucking retarded and thought we were some of the hey, look, subscribe to our course for $75 a month, like no.
Yeah, Andrew Tate.
No.
You.
This is literally just I'm starting from the ground up. Paul has a successful business, and Dave has successful gigs he's doing, and then anyways, but what was that the connection thing? I was at this estate sale today. I was checking out the Morgan silver dollars, bought a few, and there was a lady there that was just watching me. She's like, hey, did you I have some Morgan silver dollars for sale. Or no, sorry, she didn't even say that. She's like, I have a bunch of these at my house. I don't know what to do with. Do you want to check? I was like, yeah, I kind of did this in the moment too, because I was a little high and like kind of just like surprised that someone just came up to me. Hey, I have a bunch of coins I need to get rid of. Do you want them? I'm like, yes, please. I would definitely be interested in buying them in bulk. Like I just said that. She's like, oh yeah, definitely. So so she sent. Let me make sure. See if I got a text back about it. No, anyways, I'll probably follow up tomorrow. But yeah. So basically, I made a connection there of someone who wanted to get rid of a bunch of silver dollars. That I want to be,
badass.
Collecting / flipping, especially if I can buy a fuck ton in bulk, and list on my eBay page for cheap rather than the expensive ones I have right now, because I did not get the best deal. But anyways, but yeah,
No,
I'm not talking about business
know.
stuff. Let's talk about I want to drag down this show.
No, dude, that's not dragging it down. I find it interesting. That's the best part of This Is Comedy, because this is very much an anti-humor, I don't give a fuck. It's really just about me and the people who fuck with me. That's
Hell yeah,
that's
dude.
what they like about it. They kind of like that I'm an
hell yeah.
antagonist, that there's a little bit of you know what I mean? I don't mean to make anybody mad. I'm going to put this out here that I've said this before, that Indian is just a character. And I'm giving you guys a version of something that I think needs to be out there. I really do think there needs to be a guy like me who you don't really know if you like or hate me. And, it's funny, I want to roll into this because there's something else I want to joke with you about. But I had recommended a book to Sweeze. And shout out Sweeze, shout out Sumo Dog, I'll just say that.
Shout out
Get
Squeeze,
that
shout
out
out
the way.
Sumo Dog.
I recommended The Courage to Be Disliked.
Yes.
You and I were talking philosophy in the pre-show, and
You had
that's right,
mentioned that book.
motherfuckers. We like to do things private before we go public.
Oh yeah.
We're definitely on our Hillary Clinton sometimes, okay?
Smoky
and-
back rooms where we make the
Yeah,
deals.
exactly, right? And so
We get high before
I'm-
the show.
the whole concept behind the book focuses on Adlerism. And it's funny that I never made the connection about one of the Call of Duties that came out a couple years ago, the Cold War one. The guy they introduced in that one for all the CIA MK Ultra shit, his name is Adler. And it's just very funny that his mentality in that game, they borrow concept directly tied to Adlerism. And I thought Sweeze would enjoy the book just because makes you question why you are in the position you're in and what are you using as a means to keep yourself there. That trauma isn't really a real thing, and you can say it as much as you want, but the past isn't real anymore. You know, we already just did 34 minutes of this pod. It's been good, and we've got a shit ton more to do. So, like, with me trying to give him a little bit of, I don't know, a different side of it to look at, because determinism is so commonplace, and Adlerism broke away from all of that. It rejects a lot of those philosophies where, like, because of a trauma you've had, it will prevent you from succeeding, whereas, no, if you trap yourself in a room and you say you can't leave that room because of X, and you tell that to people, well, really what you want isn't to leave the room. You want people to care about you and come talk to you while you're in the room and say, okay, you can't leave the room. You want that. And if you can break away from that kind of
learned helplessness.
Learned helplessness, infantilizing yourself, not recognizing your own inner strength, because people feel powerless when they're in their workplaces. They go to a store and they can't have a civil conversation. And no, your power is not letting something escalate your emotions or reveal a hidden hand. You don't need to get angry as a means to dominate somebody and prove your point. Realistically, you never allowing yourself to fail into a trap that's designed for you. You know, if you separate and you look at yourself from the outside, you recognize that trap for what it is, you know how to avoid it. And it might feel a little manufactured, but there are people out there that want to manufacture things for you, and you have to be aware that not every player in the game, when they're on the same level or recognizing you on that path, they're not there to walk it with you. Some are there to knock you off, and some are just doing it for the spite of it. You know, as much as I like fucking with people and having a joke and saying corny shit, and I really do be saying some corny shit, it's never meant to make anybody really feel like they're somebody that shouldn't belong on the planet. I'll even say that about Jeff Dye. You know, I'm really rooting for that guy. Maybe he'll turn it around at some point, and things will be better. But at the end of the day, when I'm doing this, it's a comedy show. It's jokes. We're comedians. We make people laugh. We're not trying to preach to anybody or act like we're the all-seeing eye. And when we have these opinions, you know, if you take the time to listen to it, if you give a fuck enough to be a part of it, well, you can't exactly bitch about it. You don't have the right to say, oh, well, I didn't like that. And I mean that. You don't get to say you don't fucking like something, because you're the stupid bitch that took the time to sit there and listen to all of it.
Yeah.
What were you listening to it for? You could have turned it off 2 minutes into it, walked away, not even said it was garbage. Instead, you sat there. You know what? You liked it.
Oh, by the way,
It was
I'm not
something you
even.
liked.
Yeah, I'm not even been out of shape at all about it. I thought it was so funny, because I'm like, and for all the points that you said, like about it's, you know, the. I mean, especially, okay, I don't know if it was a thought I had or something I read, but I remember, because I remember, you know, thinking deeply on it on acid or mushrooms when I was younger. But
Nice.
if you know, like, I was like, oh, getting angry is just allowing someone to have control over you. And then that was the trap I fell in towards the end of before I and if you'll hear it, rage, quit my job. I was definitely angry, but also because I was like, it's because I have no control right now. You know, I was like, all right, but I do have the control of staying here, you know. And then I broke that, and then I was like, all right, cool, awesome, because I'm trying. So they did this experiment with rats or mice, I forget, one of the two. I think it was rats. Anyways, I forget. Where they like put it in, you know, water, deep water, and then let it, paddle until it got too exhausted, and then drowned. Then they took it out, put it back in. Then
that's what they do to the Navy SEALs. What the fuck?
Yeah, and then put it back in, and then stop. It would. I think fuck. Now I forget the experiment exactly. I think at this point, it was a slightly shorter time, or about the same amount of time, and then they drowned. Now, after that, it went down because they kept drowning. They just gave up. But the moment, if they put it in there, if they take a mouse from step one where they had already drowned it and took it out, revived it, whatever, and then throw it back in there, and then right when it was about to drown, they took it out. Actually, maybe take away the first part. I think it's just if they put sorry, it's fucking midnight. I'm sorry. Well, okay, so you take the mice, you put him in the water, and then he's about to drown, and then you take him out. If you put him back in the water, he's gonna start treading water for way fucking longer because he knows that he can get out.
I think you're explaining to me something that it might have been on Sibling Revelry. I think that's where I heard it, because I literally heard they were talking about what the SEALs do, the training, and I'll have to find out if that was Paul and Doug. Shout out to those guys again.
Shout out Paul and Doug.
For real, I think they were talking about that with let me remember, Ape, fucking Angry Ape or something. I think that's his name. He was on stream with them, and they were talking about that, how to make sure the people who were in the class wanted to be there.
Yeah.
They needed people who were fully committed to devotion. Now you make me wonder if that study that you're talking about, if something like that is what influences that class to be like, well, since they were able to get this out of the mice by throwing them into these conditions, because they were talking about the SEALs will go into the water, they go into deep water, and the moment they hit the point where if they could do the course normal, it's fine. And they're led to believe they can do the course normal. But then they drop these things on you, and you're panicking, and you try to swim back, and then they drop another one, and you drown. They make you drown. So instead of the mouse just doing its thing and what they make you drown.
But then they save you before you drown.
No, they let you drown, and then they pull you back up and resuscitate you.
Okay.
And then they make you do it again and again.
Yes.
And
yes.
the people
yep,
who bail out,
because they
they're not
resuscitate
made
you.
for-
You
Yeah,
survive.
yeah.
You survive though.
Yes.
So you survive.
And the people who that can separate and let go of that, those are the ones that they want to be soldiers, and everybody else they cull. They're like, get the fuck out of here. This isn't for you.
Yeah.
Go find something else to do. So it's I'm glad you know shit like that. This is the reason why I had you on. It's not just comedy. That's why I don't mind talking to you about right ideas. And I thought it was interesting when, fuck that guy in the comments who wants to make the Stooges thing. The Stooges were awesome, you little pussy bitch.
Yeah, right?
So if I want to fucking talk about that shit, I'll do that. I'll flex on that pussy right now. This is comedy, motherfucker.
Hell yeah,
I do what I want with my shit. And I thought it was really cool that Paul was talking about the sell-through rate, because I don't think many people do recognize the value in knowing the different markets, and really the truth nugget he dropped for a lot of people who are too inept to they're just pissing in the wind when they're selling shit instead of having a strategy or a plan like you and Dave were suggesting. So that's why I wanted to take a second to at least admire that, because if you're going to come on here and shoot the shit with me, why wouldn't I just for a moment say, yeah, that is cool that you guys actually had something to present that was meaningful. I like it. It's good. It's cool that I'll be able to have that for my routine, because again, I finally have the notifications on, but it's like YouTube needs to get its shit. I don't know if it's my phone or what the fuck's going on, but I am sick of it coming up late, and it's just, you guys are doing a fun thing. I want more people to check it out instead of just not being a part of it, or some little pussy bitch in the comments with no life. Come on, bro, go get some pussy. Go do something. Don't be a pussy. Go get some pussy. It's not that difficult.
Yes, go have sex with a woman. It'll be better than
or a man.
on
You know, if that's your thing, if that's why you're making the Stooges comment.
Yeah. Go have sex with a man. You know what? Regardless, go have sex with a man.
Yeah, go have gay sex.
You know what?
That's all you have to do.
In fact, go have non-consensual on your part sex with a man.
Yeah, let Jeff Dye rape you.
Yeah.
And then you can buy a hat from me.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be my runway model.
What if he's listening right now? That'd be so funny.
It would. I'd be so honored,
so
man.
Funny. I don't even know who that. It's so funny. Like, you know, I don't know. Like you know, you hear comics like big comics talk about like Reddit comments bothering them. Like Shane, yeah. He's like I go on Reddit, you know, and then he's like, yeah, just to he knows the story. He's like, yeah, go to Reddit to whack off, you know. Like, all right, you know, I could get around the, you know, Texas porn ban this way. First thing I see, Shane fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro.
He gets the pass though. He's a dog. Like, you know what I mean? He still wants to be a part of the like the underground sect.
I want to be liked. I want to,
he just wants to be that guy who goes to the local bar. Like, that's what he was supposed to end up as, and he somehow got lucky to not be the guy who was working construction or something, and then just at the bar with the boys. That's what he misses, and I get that. There's something in the simplicity of life where, you know, not to dick ride Lewis too much, but Lewis has that where he's a celebrity, but he can also go down the street without getting harassed Brad Pitt style. You know what I mean? Like, he has a huge audience, but he also is able to maintain some level of privacy and not get disrespected. Not everybody has that privilege, and some people, they get to that level, they weren't ready for it. And it sucks when you've got, you know, like shitty people or whatever, but I don't know, man. It gets annoying that there's all these different types of narratives that you want to play into, and I almost forgot to circle back to this because I wanted to save, like, we'll tease a little bit of what you ended up doing tonight with your lady. Shout out to Matt McCusker, man, because he is one of the guys that I fuck with heavy.
Shout out
such
to
a talent. But I did want to circle back to, I know you had seen this, and I'd made a little riff to Adam Nutter, shout out to him as well, because he was the one that I saw it first on my feed from, and I'm talking about that fucking, you know, Stop Israeli Hate with a kid in high school doing the Degrassi slow motion walkthrough.
Dude, the anti-Semitism ad.
Yeah, you know, and he's got like the very atypical wavy curly hair, and they overdid it in the makeup department because with all the Epstein shit, of course you need to just really focus on the kids right now.
I thought it was really inappropriate how they gave him a giant goblin nose.
Oh, dude, it's like, all of this isn't as egregious as what I will top this off with, because I couldn't believe that he had the balls to do this and think that nobody was going to notice or that he was making a point. He must have been that fucking dumb, and the people around him didn't know how to actually say, well, sir, you're doing what Ricky Stenicki said, you know, you're fucking cock-miking or whatever, where you're just like up here, like, you're making a fool of yourself by, and again, it's the same walking through the hallway, and sure, that's fine. And it's not even the blue note on the back. It's not
Dirty Jew.
it has nothing. You know, they would have been better if they would have had like walking down the hallway, fag. Oh, you queer? Just like that video.
Yeah.
But you know, they didn't do that. It's all this
it's
silent shit.
And wait, did you notice how, you know, the person that, you know, came to his aid was, you know, it was a
Black Israelite,
a nice
dude,
black
the true
man.
disciples.
A nice.
No,
it was because, but like you see the subtlety there. It's like,
oh, of course,
blacks and Jews unite against the white man. You know,
oh yeah,
the
true chosen people trying to be subjugated by because of course he's in a serving position. If you think about it, him going there in that moment is as a servant as Goyim, even though the Black Israelites believe themselves to be the true Jew.
Well, I didn't even necessarily see that as Black Israelite. I was more like I was.
Oh, I did subtext style, baby.
I was just seeing it as, you know, like, Black people of America, you need to support the Jews because white people are going to kill us all. Because, you know, like, because someone also dirty Jew, really? You couldn't even couldn't even put Pike on there, you know?
Follow me on this thread, because like none of that even bothers me necessarily. But you're right to point out the fact that it's
not
a
even
brother,
a slur.
that it's a fucking brother that comes up and is like, hey man. And
What's
so
about Jewish?
I don't know if you noticed this, but during the Super Bowl, when they aired that commercial, which he said they were going to pull, if you remember, that they were going to pull it completely.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. They aired it. They aired a edited version that was not as long as the original cut. And this is what I want to talk about.
I didn't. Yeah. I saw the original one, I think.
Yeah. So this is where they cut it. You know the part where the kid like starts walking forward to follow and lunge at those guys, and then the black kid grabs him on the arm.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, it's not worth it, right? Okay, so this is where they cut it. And this is where, again, I had a fucking field day when I had, like, the light in my eyes came back for a brief moment. You know, a glimmer of hope awakened in me when I saw this fucking kid.
We can't show Jews even remotely being aggressive.
No. It again, and this is like I don't know how you miss this, where you're trying to make something about being sensitive to the Jewish community, and in and of itself, that is a beautiful thing if you want to do it, of the purity of it, not because you want to actually just milk it for some money and sympathy and engagement farming. If that's really the purist in you that wants to do that, then right on, righteous brother, and rock forth. But that's not what it was, because after he puts his hand on the kid's shoulder and tells him it's not worth it, and they start walking away, what does the Jewish kid say to the black kid? Yeah, I was tripping. And it just blows me away that no fucking Jewish white kid is gonna say to a black kid the first time he ever meets him and they introduce themselves and like
brother,
they're exchanging
I'm
names.
Tripping.
Yeah, exactly. I was tripping, dog. I just like, why don't you just say the N-word? Just say that. Just go right to the go directly to jail. Just do the fucking whole. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, to be fair, that is probably an accurate depiction of Adam Friedland in 6th grade. But you know, that's
oh my God, the fact that you brought him up.
Dead ass.
I can't. Not to even diverge on another point, but quick shout out to Adam Friedland. I love that you shouted out Nick Mullen when you were on Bad Friends. Thank you for giving credit to why you are successful, which was a very beautiful moment. Like, I still need to make that into a clip where...
Still need to watch that episode.
You know, I think it was, Bobby Kelly, where he's like, I owe it all to you, Bob, about why Stavros' career was so good. And he's like, well, really Nick Mullen, but Stav just starts cackling.
Really Nick Mullen,
but Adam knows how to give credit to Nick, and you know, I just had to take that moment to be like, yeah, that was really cool to me because I wanted to mention that on the pod. But go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
This is audio only, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Adam Friedland. My heart goes out to you.
Yeah, that was just for you and me, buddy.
People could probably read between the lines, but
Oh, wow. Yeah.
no, I was wearing my Adam Friedland shirt today when I was buying silver coins. So
really?
Yeah.
When you were counting your shekels?
Yes. I didn't even think about it till afterwards. I was like, this is so funny. I'm a coin collector, and you know, like
you were Aiden Ross maxing, man. That's great.
Yeah, no,
That's
I told what do you call it, Dave? I was like, you know, I think I'm approaching this wrong. I need to be Israel maxing.
Dude, Broseph Ross.
I need to be.
You gotta hit him up. Oy vey, I'm your long lost cousin.
I actually, you know, if I here's the thing. So I have you heard the conspiracy theory that? So this is good tied to a different thing, but have you heard the conspiracy theory that Donald Trump converted to Judaism? Like, 2020.
I did
so.
Actually.
Yeah.
I did.
So, because I remembered seeing some articles from some like Israeli magazine or blog or some online publication of some sort, saying that quite a few years ago that they were trying to trace his ancestry to Jews in order to, you know, like categorize him as ethnically Jewish. And then, you know, because that was a thing in a Jewish, again, publication, that, you know, because he was considering converting to Judaism. And then I didn't hear anything about it. And then all of a sudden, like this past year, I heard yet again, hey, apparently Donald Trump converted to Judaism. Now, with that said, I do have way back in my ancestry some of the chosen people, according to the ancestry, you know, done by my relatives.
We were talking about this during that episode with Leighton and Drew. Shout out to those guys.
Oh yes, yeah.
You mentioning this?
That's right. Yeah. I did mention that I had the
tainted love.
Yeah. I had the one ancestor who I think I mentioned. Yeah, I'll just mention it briefly. Who was a Jewish rabbi who then converted to Catholicism, eventually became a archbishop in Spain, and then wrote a book about, you know, why the Talmud is bad, and basically, and then also set up the some of the legal framework for the Inquisition. I think he died around like late 1300s or maybe something like that. So it was, you know, about 100 years or so before the Inquisition. But, you know, he helped get people fired up, I guess I should say. You know, but anyways, but then I also have some in my ancestry that just at some point converted to Catholicism and didn't persecute their brethren afterwards. But yeah, it's like,
so you're just telling me you're one of the good ones. I gotcha.
Exactly. It's minuscule enough, but and you know, it's, let me put it this way, it's to the point that Hitler would not have been able to find it. So no, wow. but yeah, it is that far back. Like it's
shout out Larry Toad in his cover of HH.
Yeah.
Hitler.
Yeah, shout out Toad, my other co-host. Shout out Leighton, my Leighton and Toad co-hosts on Losercast.
I should probably tell you we're gonna switch over to the bonus if you want to plug on the public right now. We've got a little over a minute left. I want to give you that time.
Oh yeah, Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain. That's a lot of numbers. Losercast with Leighton Radner, Toad, and Tyler Yankee. And then also on Saturdays, me and Dave, we usually aim for around 10 a.m. Mountain time, so I guess noon Eastern time. Right Ideas podcast. Uh, we are. I am pursuing outside of my W-2 job I just quit. You know, gig work, trying to do online stuff, trying to work up my TikTok, although that's kind of on pause because I got lightly scammed. So I just want to make sure that everything's good on that front before I open up my TikTok shop and link all my bank accounts to my ad center, because I do not want people spending my money without. So anyways, but yeah, so TikTok, eBay, I've got an eBay shop. But yeah, this next Saturday, I guess, a week from today, holy cow, is I think it's going to be a little later. It's going to be 1 p.m. because we got a guest. Oh my God, I forgot his name. It's a it's a friend of Dave's that actually has a quite successful has successful YouTube channels, I guess, doing Instacart, gig work, that type of thing. And so yeah, it's we keep Right Ideas clean so that we can have other clean guests like that don't do naughty shows. So we try to keep it clean and factual there. There are several times, although, that you can see me visibly trying to not like laugh at something or make a joke. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like when I picked up I read the name of these mailers, the KK Best Pack. I was going to say, yeah, I got these black ones. They're not nearly as good as the white ones, though.
Oh, my God.
Which is genuinely also the answer. It's also true because the white ones are like thicker and anyways. But also, yeah, anyways, whatever. See, I couldn't make the joke there, and then I just like it just came out like unpolished. It just like I just shit it out here. It was digested all day long. I just like vomited it out here. That's what happens when I'm unable to speak free. But you know what? It's fine. I'm not complaining.
No, I think you're good, bro. You're good. And please make sure you guys check him out. All his socials.
I forgot I was plugging.
Yeah, just like
Broseph Smith 420 on Twitter.
Yeah, please give him a follow. And yeah, we're switching over to the bonus now. So if you want to check out more shit, he's got some shit to talk about. I know he went to see Cusker tonight, so we're gonna get into that. And
Forgot to mention
probably get a little more rocky and rolly. So thanks for listening, guys. I'll catch you next week with another puppy.